everybody. Thank you very much, Dr. Hatu, Dr. Oriana, for helping us on this section. We are on the 10th anniversary of Macau platform. And for the last 10 years, we have been discussing among us and with the cities, with our sources, with our friends, exactly how we should consider the platform concept. Some people think it's just political, some people think it's also commercial, for business purposes, for Macau international affirmation. In my opinion, and I think we start agreeing on that, building the platform is building networks. Corporative networks, political networks, business networks between China and the Portuguese-speaking countries. Of course, Portugal has always a deeper meaning on Macau history, but China has decided, and I agree, we should think at large in the Portuguese-speaking language and the Portuguese-speaking countries. So on our 10th anniversary, we would like to come back to this concept and to discuss how can we build networks in Macau, international networks, global networks, Portuguese-speaking and Chinese-speaking networks, to build this platform, which is a Macau mission, and in my opinion, especially a Macau opportunity, and for non-Chinese speakers, probably the only opportunity we have beside the casinos. It's a personal opinion. I share with you. We started this week with juridical networks because they are probably one of the oldest ones in Macau. It's common knowledge for law firms in Macau to have strategic partnerships in Portugal, also in other Portuguese-speaking countries. Recently, in China also. A lot of law firms in Macau are establishing partnerships in Nanjing Island to build this bridge between Greater Bay Area and Portuguese-speaking countries. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you again, Mr. Hatu. Thank you, Oriana, very experienced lawyers in Macau. Oriana is also General Secretary of the Lawyers Association. And we'll start this week discussing these networks, beginning with the juridical networks in order to globalize Macau and affirm this mission of being the platform. None of us is an English mother language speaker, so I thank you, Mr. Hatu and Oriana, to make this effort, because after some discussions on platform talks, we have decided English will be the common language for all the communities. So we are trying to make it easier to everybody to understand what is the discussion here. I would formally begin with Ms. Oriana, but she gives the first word
Ladies
to
first.
Mr. Rato. She already told me you are the first, so you are late. So we are going to begin this section with this idea that Macau legal architecture, namely the major codes, are Portuguese inspiration, which immediately marks a unique character for the special administrative region, and especially after the transition of power. I would ask you, to what extent can we see this circumstance as an instrument itself for Macau globalization and its relations with the outside world?
Relation what?
The globalization and its relation with the outside world.
Well, Paul, first of all, you told me that this is a familial meeting. So first of all, I would like to congratulate you for the 10th anniversary of your adventure platform.
Thank you.
And second, I suppose that today is your birthday, so congratulations. Congratulations also for that.
Almost 35.
Almost 25. And also, you align a series of very complex questions.
As always.
I think I'm not the one, yeah, as usual. I think I'm not the one to answer that kind of questions, but you told me and told also my dear colleague, Dr. Oriana, that you are very concerned with the internationalization of Macau, and you would like to emphasize at least four nuclear points, and among them the network, the legal network of Macau in the perspective of the internationalization. I don't know, very frankly, if internationalization of Macau is an issue or is a problem or is a question. This is my first doubt. And since a long time ago, Macau has, and I can ask the help of my notes, Macau has transformed itself from a small fishing village into a port of international commerce and exchange between West and East, but not only of goods, but also of ideas, knowledge, cultures, and even exchange of technologies between people that mutually enriched among them. And that space that comes already with more than 450 years, that space still exists. Is this space? Is our Macau of today, that you know better than I. And this space is integral and integrated part of the big nation of the People's Republic of China. Macau has a certain autonomy, its own government, just limited by central competencies of foreign affairs and defense matters, endowed with one excellent basic law, and that this excellent law has a special chapter that is dedicated to external affairs. External affairs is your concern. So how to internationalize Macau? We can consult external affairs. We are not taking care of the foreign affairs because foreign affairs belongs to the central government, but the regional government has competencies as far as the external affairs are concerned. Its own competencies in international matters of the government. So probably you must invite one member of the government.
I will.
To carry you
I will. But look, we can change to you. I'll get back to you on this subject because when I express my concern about the global networks that we can build in Macau, it's not clearly political. I'm not talking about foreign affairs. I'm not talking about discussing the level of autonomy. We could discuss the level of practice of that autonomy, which is a different thing. But the things we can do. I have a media network. My platform is linked with 42 international media brands. Why? Because I had this vision that this is probably the only way to grow here outside of the limits of this market, and everybody expressed their interest and their concern on using Macau to have links with the Chinese culture, Chinese business opportunities. What I was thinking on the legal networks is you do that. You have an office in Nanjing with Chinese partners. You have partners in Lisbon, right? So how can this network promote and develop Macau international business opportunities, cultural exchanges, etc. That's my question.
First of all, happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
Thank
you for turning it public.
Regarding the first question about the codes, the major codes, because in fact there is no doubt they are the foundation, and the basic strong foundation of Macau law system, and because we are similar to other continental law system like China and Portuguese speaking language speaking countries, that is a very big advantage for us and for the foreigners to know about Macau law. And regarding the how to set up the network, I think in my own opinion, I grew in Macau, right? I'm Chinese, but I studied Portuguese since I was a girl, right? And I think Macau people used to live in peace. Peace. We are, how to say, we feel very satisfied for what we have already in Macau. And we don't used to have competition. So sometimes we are a little bit slow to do the things, to get we don't have to do so much to get what we want. But maybe nowadays, if we want to be how to act in the international scenario, right? We have to work on it. I think the mindset changing is very important. In fact, I think this in this aspect, China can see more far than us.
I do agree.
Because they see us as very precious. Knowing Chinese, Portuguese, English, or other foreign language, they see us like a very special. And we don't know, we don't feel it, we don't have this, that we are not conscious about that. So first we need to change our mindset and have a big scenario. Like in Macau, we are 400 something lawyers, right? How many? I'm not saying about the foreigners that are coming to Macau to invest or serve the international companies or companies. I'm saying just China. Many companies, they want to go out.
Go abroad using Macau.
Using Macau to other countries. Not only Portugal, not only Portuguese-speaking countries. Many places. And how many cities we have in China? Thousands, a dozen of thousands, right? If one lawyer can serve one company in one city in China, we already have our have things to do. So I think the mindset is very important.
And do we have the knowledge for that?
For sure, and we can improve. Like we are continue to improving and study. Even me, I'm trying to because I have connections in Hong Kong. They said, I think aside the Portuguese language, I think Spanish and even the Arabian language is very important because there is a very big market there to develop. And now I'm trying to learn a bit Spanish, and trying to know about things about the Arabian markets. So I think we have to work on to know more and to see more opportunities.
Okay.
Because just last thing, because I heard many Chinese lawyers telling me that many Chinese companies, they go out abroad to make the investment and building things or whatever, and they try to look lawyer on that place, but they cannot connect with them. Maybe it's the culture, or not only the problem is not only the language. And Macau, our lawyers can be the connection element to make this happen. They need
Okay.
us.
So the opportunity is there, the knowledge must be developed. We still have a small mindset.
I think it can be bigger. Yeah, because we cannot see the big. We have to see the big scenario, the world. Yeah. Sometimes we don't know. Yeah, we have this kind of advantage, but I think we need to see the big scenario.
Okay. When we look at the legal system at large, as well as the court system, for example, does it apply with international standards? Is it credible for an investor to come here, trust the legal system, trust the lawyers, trust the court system?
I think it's for sure because in fact we have 3 instances in Macau, right, of court, and at least the second and the last instance of court, their decisions are all public. Okay, it's only in Chinese and Portuguese, no English, but at least they are all public, and every people can read it in the website, and the rules are very clear. Yeah. The only thing maybe this is happened not only in Macau, maybe in Hong Kong or other countries, is not is not we cannot get a decision very fast. Yeah, because it's not only because the I'm not saying the court is working slow, but because of they need to follow the procedures. Yeah, and because sometimes the procedures it takes time. It's the only thing I think is and the credibility I think is no doubt no problem.
Do you agree with this clarity, with this?
You told me that I could interrupt you.
So do it.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. I'm a little bit nervous.
You are very interested in talking and about the legal system. It's very interesting, and also the judicial system. And but I would like to put the focus where Rosariana put just some minutes ago, that this piece of land is a land of peace, and this is very important. Why is a land of peace? Probably because of the legal system. Probably because of the Roman-Germanic system and the continental system. This is a simple system. It's not a complicated system. It's not as complicated system as some people think that China before 1949 and after 1949, especially in 76, 79, Deng Xiaoping readopt the continental system again. The continental system probably is the legal instrument of this piece of land being a land of peace. And I would like to give you an example. In the incident of 123, remember 123?
Not really. I'm 27.
Yeah. But in the primary school, probably. Not yet. In the incident of 3 of December 96.
96.
In the 3 December 96, as everybody knows, is the protest of the Chinese inhabitants of Tamchai, of Taipa. The Red Guards of the Cultural Revolution are threatening to invade Macau. And the regular army, the so-called Red Army, stationed itself at the gates of Macau because Chou Enlai, the brilliant prime minister, at that time also Minister of Foreign Affairs, wanted to preserve Macau in case of the Cultural Revolution reached dangerous points in Hong Kong, and safeguard and preserve Macau role as international bridge, connection bridge to People's Republic of China. Everybody thought that the Red Army was in the border of Macau to invade Macau. No, to
protect.
obstacles to the Red Guards do not invade Macau. Why? Because Macau was a land of peace, as you very well focus this in the right moment. And this is a consequence of the simple and practical and operational legal system, a continental legal system, adopted in Portugal, adopted in Macau, adopted in Beijing.
Okay. When we focus on that, I'm thinking on the great codes inspired on the Portuguese tradition. They granted this peace you are talking about. They also grant us individual rights, human rights, etc., etc. There are some discussions today. They are old. They should be revised, modernized, etc. Looking at what you are saying, I would say you are defending that they should not change, at least not too much.
You mean the big codes? The question of the big codes is a very interesting question. I don't have solution for that. I think that probably it would be better to revoke everything. To revoke everything.
What do you mean, reset?
No, a community without law. Everybody
You are an
loves
anarchist.
each other. Everybody knows his duties. Everybody knows his rights. We don't need codes, but we must have codes. But I think it's very good to have codes. I remember that after the joint declaration, the big concern of the Portuguese governance was the Portuguese government in Portugal and in Macau was to give or to create the infrastructure of Macau in order to have the good land to transfer, because it was more than expectable that the handover was will be very soon. And as a matter of fact, the joint declaration was signed in 87. I mean, 87. In 87, and the big concern from 87 on was two kind of infrastructures: the physical infrastructures
In the legal way.
and the legal infrastructure. And the legal infrastructure passed to elaborate, construct, write, and put in force all the big codes. Because, as a matter of fact, the other codes was very démodé, was not adapt or adequate to the modern times. So the Portuguese Republic must endow Macau of civil code, commercial code, procedure code, penal code, penal procedure code, and missing some.
The registry code. Right?
Which one?
The registry.
Registros.
Yeah, that's right. Notary code, register code.
Yeah.
So all the infrastructure must be renewed, must be new, in order to adequate the new social, economic, financial, and commercial realities to the life of Macau. And it was done. It was done. It was done, and I think that we can say that it was done with some quality. On the other hand, as already Dr. Oriana focused also, there is some kind of a parallelism between the legal system after 79 in China and the Portuguese and the Macau one. So the school is the same. The school is continental school. So the roots are similar, and this is a big advantage, especially if we consider the integration in GBA. There is one of the elements of the integration of GBA, that is Hong Kong, that as the common law is a different school But I think that the fact that it's different is not bad for the system. The system must coexist with one country, two systems, three language, three jurisdictions. And we must ask for harmony between these three different realities, quite different. More close or more approximated, the Chinese one and the Meganese one, and the English one, just to make some complementary. I think that is very rich for the system that we think that will be the one enforced in GBA. Which one will be the most
Leadering,
positive?
yeah.
We don't know. We don't know. We must practice, and we must put in force the three sources in order to see what could be the dominant. For sure, that will be one dominant. I don't have doubts about that. The dominance is commercial, financial, economic, but political. And the political one will be the supremacy among the three.
Okay. Oriana, do you agree with this competition between legal mindsets and codes? And should Macau present the Portuguese-inspired codes as an asset for this regional integration with the common law and with the Chinese legal system?
Yeah, for sure. As I said, I think I already said that is because it's very similar to many countries, yeah, with the continental system. So I think it's very important. But regarding the revision of the major codes, I agree with Totora to that. Maybe they need to be revised. Maybe some of them or some part of them, especially I think the procedure law, the code. Yeah, because maybe some procedures can be simplified. Yeah, and this is very good for those who want to invest in Macau, and this can make the court can working faster too. But it's very important to know and to study how to revise them because all the major codes are related with all the laws of all the basic system in Macau. So it's not easy. It's not an easy job, easy work. So need to be study very seriously about this question.
Okay. We already talked a little bit about this law firms networks, so I would jump to bilingualism, right? You don't speak Chinese? A lot. I have a bilingual firm, a bilingual newspaper. I don't speak Chinese. You speak very well Portuguese and, of course, Chinese. How important is bilingualism here now, not only on your field of work, but as shaping this diversity and this society that is designed by China to be international and to have relations with the Portuguese-speaking countries? It's basically not a Macau idea, right? How important is bilingualism and how can we promote it and preserve it or develop to affirm Macau as an international city, as a city who has a proposal to Greater Bay Area, which is different than Hong Kong or Guangdong or Shenzhen?
I think we have to see Portuguese as a very big advantage, a precious heritage. Yeah. Without Portuguese, Macau is not Macau, right? We are different from Hong Kong and other cities in China because we have Portuguese. We have Portuguese language, the culinary, the culture, the music, everything. So, in fact, I think China sees this better than us as an advantage. That's why even China said, Macau, you have to keep the Portuguese, develop, being the platform. And in fact, in Macau, luckily I continue to see many people learning Portuguese, but I think we still need more people to learn Portuguese. And I always suggest to the lawyers, even the Chinese lawyers, Chinese-speaking lawyers, that you all have to learn Portuguese. Yeah. To be a good lawyer or better lawyer, need to know Portuguese. At least because we are still reading many books in Portuguese, law books, the decisions, all the jurisprudence. We are all is still learning with the Portugal. Yeah, because we still have many similar things. And about the bilingualism, in fact, sometimes it's difficult to defend. Like today, I was asking, the same seminar will be in Chinese or Portuguese? And Paulo told me it will be in English. Oh, I said, it's difficult to defend, yet to maintain. Yeah, but I understand because we can see this even in some occasions when only have Portuguese speaking language and Chinese, and they prefer to contact and communicate in English. But I try always I prefer to double the job. I prefer always writing in Portuguese and English. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think it's very important. It's very important.
I would love to write in English, in Chinese, but I really don't know. I know what you mean. Let me just clarify what we had decided here. In this particular kind of sections, if you speak Chinese and he speaks Portuguese, we need to wait for the translations, so the written is impossible. I come from a country where when we have 5 Portuguese and 1 foreigner on the table, we all speak English.
Yeah.
I come from a culture here in Macau, when you have 5 Portuguese and 1 Chinese, we speak English. Okay? So it is a bridge. Okay, and sometimes I understand it's not helping the bilingualism. Okay, but it's helping multiculturalism, which is one of the bases to discuss bilingualism. Do you agree that a good lawyer should at least understand Portuguese to go to the underlines of the codes and the law system? Well, would it be fair to ask every Portuguese lawyer also to learn Chinese?
Yeah, I fully agree. I'm a very bad example of that.
As I am.
Because I try.
But I'm not a lawyer, so I'm safe.
I tried 3 times and I'm unsuccessful in that specific field. I think that, as a matter of fact, it's very, very difficult to learn Chinese. As I said, I try hardly, but I couldn't. But I'm the one that incentivate my colleagues and even my trainee lawyers to learn, because I fully agree with Oriana. We must manage the legal system of Macau in both language, and also probably it would be better to be in 3 language, including the English, because
it helps all of us to understand each other.
Despite all the bilingualism, we use the English language for multicultural purposes. But at least Portuguese and Chinese, I think that is very important. Just a small note about when you talk about the revision or the potential revision of the great codes and even the legal system in global. A very small note for the possible revision of the legal system in global, because the legal system in global is the second system, and the second system just can be modified in 2049. So to change the legal system in global, as you refer, is quite impossible before 2049. But the codes,
That's granted. Yeah.
yeah,
Even
is established in the basic law. The basic law is the grand canon, political canon that must be followed, and the second system just can be modified or stopped in 2049. Let's see if something like this is going to happen in 2049. I think that it was not the sort of Deng Xiaoping.
Okay. I'm glad you go back to that because I forgot this. When Oriana was telling us about clarity, public knowledge, etc., is also public knowledge that if a foreign investor comes here and he suits the state, he should have 1 in 20 chances of winning a fight with the state. It's public. So if I'm a foreign investor and I come here and I have a problem with Macau government, can I win in the court? Because people outside, they tell me they cannot. And is it important or not to feel that security when you want to internationalize an economy?
One of the most important, or even the crucial norm of the basic law is the independence of the court. So the court and the judicial system is independent, but more than that, it's not only independent, but the judicial system in Macau can give the decision in last instance. That means that the decisions of the court of Macau are not homologated or approved or rejected by the central.
Of course, by anybody but the court itself.
So Macau has the right to decide in last instance. That means that the courts are independent and is one of the duties of the state is to maintain the independence of the court. If there is no independence of the court, no business, no economy, no finance, no commercial exchange, no civil rights, nothing. So we must trust that the independence of the court is some unmodifiable requisite of the basic law, at least until 2049.
Okay. Please.
But it's not true. I cannot agree because it's not easy, right? Especially when you want to sue or have some legal action with the government or even with some big companies, right? But I think we need to see the case by case. Like I have similar case, different people, maybe 8 of them, in 10, maybe 8 of them they will lost the action, but 2 of them
Perhaps they
will
were not right.
No, it depends. We cannot say just in big terms, everyone is losing or something. And in fact, sometimes when we have the residents or even the people have problem or they want to appeal in the court, even by the law, the government, they can change their decision. Yeah. So, and we can see that. We see sometimes even the government, they take the act to correct the decision. So no more suit in the court. So it's not cannot say generally what is the happening. It's difficult, yeah, because it's case by case. Yeah.
Okay.
And even if this is happened, so we lawyer we cannot work, right? If we
Well,
always lose. Yeah.
Sometimes you can defend the government also. Government is also a client. Okay. Let's go back to bilingualism in lawyer offices, right? You can grant it with bilingual people. You can grant it with bilingual teams, right? People speaking Portuguese, people speaking Chinese, and probably speaking each other in English, right? It's common reality, daily reality in Macau. But what we have been discovering lately is it's not easy to hire lawyers from abroad because the process of the examinations in the lawyer association is not easy. It doesn't happen every day because of this Macau ID restriction policy. It's beginning to be very difficult or even impossible to hire lawyers from Portugal. How important is that on our discussion? Do we really need to change it? Because I heard recently the president of the Lawyer Association saying we are lacking quality lawyers in Macau. How can we solve that? What did he mean with that?
No, I need to clarify. I think
Good.
it's a big misunderstood because he never said
No?
we don't have enough qualified lawyers. Yeah. And on contrary, he just said, as a lawyer association, our mission is continue to train qualified lawyers to give the better conditions for them to be well prepared for the market, for Macau law system.
Okay.
That is what he said. Yeah, for sure we have qualified lawyers with good experience in Macau. We have.
We don't need to bring them from China or from Portugal.
We don't need to bring anything, in fact, because we have lawyers in Macau, right? And that's what we have to work on it. Because, in fact, I think, and especially, I think we need to focus on the Macau lawyers, yeah, because either they are Portuguese speaking or Chinese speaking. We are Macau lawyers. They have the same interests, the same duties, the same rights, right? And we are facing big challenges because the world is changing, the economic is changing, the social state. We are facing many problems and challenge. That's why we can see even not only Portuguese-speaking lawyers, but even Chinese-speaking lawyers, they are leaving the profession, the law profession, going to the government, some leaving to the Portugal, but mainly because of the pandemic situation. So I think is our mission in Lawyer Association is we need to see how to do better for our associates.
Okay.
I didn't
Federico, do you
understand
agree with that?
The declaration, I think, is very important.
Yes, it's very important. Basically, Aurelio was explaining that basically he didn't say what he said. Meaning, he didn't mean we are lacking lawyers with quality in Macau. He meant we need to keep improving their quality, I believe their training, their updatings, and their adaptation to the new realities and the new commercial opportunities. That's not exactly how it was spread on the media. Which is very important to clarify what exactly did he mean.
Clarify the declarations of the Tobongin Five, because the declarations of the Tobongin Five probably were not very well interpreted by the journalist or the newspaper man.
That's our fault.
Or some kind of misunderstanding. But as a matter of fact, the title was Macau needs qualified lawyers. So,
which applies to your
I ask myself, and
also.
probably you ask yourself, what I'm doing here. What 460 lawyers are doing in Macau? Bad things, doing the bad things for the community, for the people, for the material interest of the people, for the individual interest of the people. No, it's not true. So I fully agree that the Lawyers Association, as a public institution as it is, is a very good behavior to influence not only the practice of the profession, but just in the beginning, in the management of the faculties, the curriculum of the faculties, the professors of the faculties. So all the academic links and after the professional links to update and to have a special relationship with all the organizations of the vicinity and all the organizations of the Portuguese language in terms of the projection for the future.
Okay. Since it's media fault, let me clarify my position. Macau needs quality journalists. A lot of them. And I'm not talking badly about myself or Nelson or Orte here. I'm not watching anybody else. The question is, we are discussing globalization, Macau internationalization, the platform, right? Should you be free to hire a lawyer from Beijing or from Lisbon, or you don't feel that need?
I think we don't need to hire them. In fact, we can work together.
Okay.
We can, because nowadays, if we need some matter in Portugal or China or other places, we just need to have connections with those places.
Share the knowledge.
Yeah.
Time, effort, etc.
Yeah. And nowadays, we don't have to be present in a place to work in that place, right? So I think that is not the problem. We need to hire any lawyer from any country.
But should you be free to do it or not?
Free to hire?
Yeah, because if I want to hire a journalist from Lisbon, I cannot give him an ID.
This need to follow
He cannot be a director, for example, because if you want to be a newspaper director, you need to have a Macau ID. I disagree with that. Do you agree that we are strict to Macau-based foreign lawyers interacting with foreign lawyers? Is it the only way or the best way to promote an international law system?
I think the fact of not giving bid or not bid is not an obstacle to being international.
Can he make the examination in the association without an ID?
I just can say the rules about to getting your lawyers to be a lawyer in Macau never change. It's all written. It's very clear. We never change. Basically, we never change anything. It's the same requirements. So we need to follow the requirements. Yeah. Okay. So and if you say no need that, because this is the rules, we just need to follow. Yeah.
Okay, I agree. We need to follow the rules, but as a journalist, sometimes I disagree with the rules. It's what it is. Okay, so let's eventually change the subject. Linking China to Portuguese countries implies.
May I just add?
Of course. I'm sorry. She was so complete on her answer that
I'm not in favor, and I should say this very seriously. I'm not in favor of the free circulation between the lawyers in Portugal and the lawyers in Macau.
Okay.
This is not a carousel. This is not a place to spend holidays, and in Portugal the same. So I think that I'm in favor of the repristination, let's see this way, of the protocol between the two associations, between the Ordens of Advogados in Portugal and but there must be rules for that kind of exchange. Mm-hmm. Must be an exchange. That means that the duties and the rights of both parties must be equal. It doesn't make sense to do a privilege for the Portuguese or a privilege for the lawyers of Macau. So must be equal for both senses, but must be submitted to some rules for that kind of cultural, technical, and legal exchange. Not only for lawyers, also for magistrates, also for other kind of legal professions. The lawyers' profession must be protocol between the two corporations. Corporations
Like it was before, but in different.
yes, is not some kind of
More balanced,
open
more
door.
balanced,
It's
okay.
not an open door. They must be subject to rules, some rules that can protect the exercise of the profession, both in Macau and in Portugal, especially in Macau, because Macau have 650,000 inhabitants. Portugal has 10 million. Let's go with good sense. This is a question of good sense. For sure, that must be sponsored by the government. The government, if this can be a reality, the government must give some support, legal support, namely what? ID card, the free exercise of the profession, and the good connections between the two regions. And for me, that's all.
Okay, so I would say you would basically agree with Juliana when she says Macau lawyers don't need to bring other lawyers from all these Portuguese-speaking countries or for China to make this platform the legal globalization of the systems. That we have very different legal systems in all Portuguese-speaking countries. They are not all based in Romanic
Germanic system.
system. I suppose Brazil is totally different, for example, which is a very important economy on this platform. No,
Mix, yeah.
but basically, what Oriana was explaining is what you need is to adapt, interact, and work together with other lawyer firms. It would be basically the focus for the legal system to help Macau to globalize and internationalize and making the platform. I believe you would agree with that.
Yeah,
Following
that's it.
your last statement.
Definitely.
Lawyer firms and particular lawyers, this is my final question to you. Then we are going to give some opportunity to the public to speak with you also. Have been in the past also political figures and community lawyers. When I arrived to Macau, when was it, Luis? 94. He's my biographer. Back in 93 or 94, a lot of lawyers were in the Legislative Assembly, for example. It happens in many other countries, also in Portugal, and great community leaders. When I arrived at the time, we don't feel that presence anymore, at least not in the same way. How important do you think that is to shape a society or to look for the design of the legal system, the political system, and the how do you say, the society peace, or or what is the expression, well, the society or a political and social system like we used to have and that shaped us before. How important is not seeing lawyers and judges with political relevance today?
I suppose that this is not true nowadays. This is no more. This is no more true, and this is no more true, or this was a reality some times ago, but is each time less and less. And I think probably because two orders of reasons. And the first one is in consequence of the expansion of the society and the greater separation nowadays between formal and informal power, from professional and social and economic life. Nowadays, we are next to 700,000 of inhabitants and citizens in Macau. It was not true 20 years ago. It was not true 40 years ago. I remember the society 40 years ago. It was not the same composition.
Not the same energy, not the same diversity, etc.
Yeah, the same diversity, the same the same levels of culture. When I mean culture, is culture and informal culture and academic culture. The social stratification nowadays is quite different. People now is more advanced in terms of exercise of the rights, in terms of salaries, in terms of in terms of jobs, in terms of quality of life, and so that kind of influence, political influence, and informal influence of the lawyers and the lawyers' office in Macau is less and less relevant. The other factor, and I must stress this, and I must state this, is that nowadays, oh, I should say, yesterday, small was beautiful. Today, no small is beautiful. There is no small reality. The reality is big. So in small is beautiful, we take the telephone and we can talk with the chief of cabinet of a secretary with all the honesty and all the capacity of citizen and capacity, professional capacity. Today is not possible. Today is not possible. Why? Because the power, the formal power, the informal power is quite separated of the reality of the professional and especially of the lawyers. Probably the power of the lawyers was something exaggerated in those times, and because they were the intermediary between the investment and the development of the region, the development of the territory. Nowadays, this is not true. So the power, the professional power is deconcentrated, but the political power is concentrated. And that's the reason, because that kind of influence is no more possible. I think it's good. I think for the common of the society, this is good. But probably nowadays is the time of engineers or economists or the financial people instead of the lawyers.
Okay. So, Oriana, according to Mr. Rato, it is true. It is less and less relevant, but it's also good in a way. Do you agree with
because
that?
of the diversify. Like nowadays, I think in Macau, what they give more importance is the education and the IT, and in the for other or matters related with the bank, with the stocks, the other things, right? But I think just our as a law profession, only itself is a very important class, because in one place, if lawyers they cannot have an important rule, I think it's not good, right? So because we are the last people that defend the residents and the people, so I think we need to still be have this in mind. This is our mission, our duty. Not only working on the special case, but having always in mind, we need to when we working, we need to see what is not good, what is good, giving our opinion, and trying to fight the best of our clients.
Okay, I will give you a rest from myself and ask the public to help us to put last questions to our guests. Please try to make questions and not statements. So our guests have some time to think and answer, okay? Questions are mandatory.
Okay, we already see the killing instant of Dr. Rato. But 20 years ago, we also have that instant, because it was the first law firm that I remember who opens the door for Chinese lawyers, and probably is the pioneer to open the adventure in Denchin. Okay, when we open this, it's the Pandora box. The question is, I see, are the lawyers prepared for that Pandora box that they opened and that Dr. Rato opened 23, 24 years ago? Thank you very much.
Descodificar que eu não consegui ler os lábios.
You were one of the first lawyer firms to open the door to Chinese mother language partners, and probably one of the pioneers to open offices in Anqing. Pedro is asking if all the other lawyers were prepared for the consequences of what would come when Chinese mother language lawyers basically began to be the majority in the market and bringing probably a different mindset and a different working culture. What were the consequences for the other lawyers?
Paul, also very important is that when we open the horizon, not only for businessmen and for other things, what I'm asking is that the lawyers, as a group, they really know exactly what is going to happen when they are forced, or they want to open for more than the frontiers of Macau as they are. Thank you very much.
Okay, Pedro, first of all, I would like to tell you that I am some hearing difficulties, and it's advantage for me to read in the lips, and I cannot read in the lips just because I lie. So I didn't understand everything. But as far as I can understand, yes, we are pioneers in both the ways that you mentioned. The first one was have two common language in our office when we were small enough for that. And the second one was to open our office to partners. Chinese partners. We are the first one, as a matter of fact, and that was a very good experience. It was to open for the future, and we are the first to open for the future. And on the other hand, we also were the first one to disembark in China, in Anqing, and now we have an evolution for Shenzhen and even Zhuhai. If I understand, you pointed out the risk that could be in the politique of open door to be invaded by the British and American law firms that could whatever comes. I think I'm not again some kind of corporate defense. As Australia for Australians, Macau for the Macau mechanism, Macau residents. Macau residents have 25 nationalities. So 27 nationalities in Macau. So Macau is for the residents of Macau. For sure that Macau is a Chinese land, and Macau is for Chinese, but not only Chinese. We have in almost 700,000 inhabitants of Macau, 200-something thousand are foreign people. So Macau is also in this combination of a population is some kind of a internationalized place. And I think that we must defend our interests for sure. We cannot be invaded by the big firms of the United States just because there are 3 gaming operators from the United States in Macau. We can take care of their interests. Mm-hmm. we can do that. sure that if we need help from the big lawyer's office in other jurisdiction in England or in United States or whatever, where we can help. It was already focused that nowadays the work can be done by distance, so we can have the knowledge and of everybody everywhere. But the door cannot be closed. The door must be open, as in a liberal community or liberal society must be open. Must be open with rules. That's all.
And
That's
limits. Rules and limits. Rules and limits.
Yeah, rules and limits.
I don't know if you want to add something to this
No,
particular
I
question.
agree with
Otherwise,
you.
I think Nuno is on the line. Yeah.
Thank you very much for your happy birthday, Paulo.
Thank you.
Just a brief reference. Once we are talking about networks and legal networks, I just want our our panel to comment on an idea, the idea that I have in terms of legal networks, and put it thing very straight and very simple is that they have three levels for us in Macau. Okay, the first one is the networks with mainland China. Okay, there are a lot of offices in Macau that has working relationships and cooperation agreements, and even partnership agreements, like is the case of Lecto, with lawyers in China, in mainland China.
Huge firms. Huge firms.
Huge,
1,500
yeah,
lawyers.
That's always, when we talk about China, it's always
10,000 lawyers.
1,500, 10,500, whatever. So that is one of the levels. The other level that I think we should address here is the level with the Portuguese-speaking countries, which for us is much more easy to achieve than the next level. But that level with the Portuguese-speaking countries, I think a lot of offices here in Macau are have been able to establish those networks. And then there is a third level, which is an international level beyond the Portuguese-speaking countries that include other countries and even other system countries. Of course, I'm excluding Hong Kong from here because Hong Kong is probably the first system with which Macau lawyers had networks, even much before. I remember in '95, CNC had already an agreement with John Stokes and Master in Hong Kong. So, of course, it was a small network, but it was a network because we were cooperating with them. So my question is, do you agree with this? Are we prepared? I think for the first two levels, I think we are. But are we prepared for the third level that I think we should be? Regarding the networks, I think is the most important part. Regarding the great codes.
Can I ask them to go for the first issue and I'll go back
Okay.
to you?
Okay.
Since you are the last one, can you please answer Nuno about the three levels of networks he's
Like
suggesting?
he said, in fact, the first and the second one, we already have and able to do. The third one, for the other countries, right? Like I think I talked about it too. That we have to make strong connections with them and try to get more opportunities. In fact, I think we just not can wait a client from maybe from China and looking some lawyers or he have some legal matters in Dubai, for example. Then we contact a Dubai lawyer. No, because we are. In fact, I don't know. I know no lawyer in Dubai. So what we have to do is prepare. We already make connections, you see the opportunities for the international seminars or conference, to knowing more lawyers, visiting them, trying to see what opportunities we can have in those places and what cooperation we can make. So I think what we have to do, we can do.
Does it make sense to think that the Chinese, Guanxi, and the Portuguese-speaking countries partnerships could be the base for the third level? Imagine if I want to get a Vietnamese lawyer, the Chinese lawyer will get him to me.
For sure.
If
for
I want
sure.
to have a Spanish lawyer, the Portuguese lawyer will
For
get
sure,
him to
for
me. Does
sure.
it
I
make
think
sense
it's for sure.
think on the second level as the base for the third level?
For sure, for sure. That's why we have to keep to contact and to interacting with the other lawyers. I think is what Macau lawyers can bet to do.
Do you want to complete the
Just,
the question?
just a simple point. I think that two different zones of professional activity of the lawyers in Macau. The GBA and the integration of Macau in the big economic and social and commercial and financial reality that is GBA, and the lawyers of Macau, for sure, that have some role in that kind of integration. The other one is the connections with the Portuguese language countries. Both are established due to very important political reasons. The first one is the integration of this part of the south of China that has the presence of the two autonomous regions, Macau and Hong Kong, and 7 very important cities. This is a political design, this is a political option, this is a very objective political aim. The lawyers of Macau has something to do in this project. The second project is political also. So, the People's Republic of China offer to Macau, in order to Macau to have more impact in the society than the gaming, a special connection with the Portuguese language countries. But this is some kind of doctrine, objective of the central government, because in practical the objective is political one, but is the instrument for the approach of the interests of the African countries or the Portuguese countries and People's Republic of China. I think, is my opinion, that Macau didn't reach that kind of political objective. Why? Don't know why. Probably because the intervention or the help of the central government is not enough. Second, because until now, the regional government has no arms enough to support that kind of a special political aim, objective. And because of that, these are, as you notice, two different scopes of activity of the lawyers in Macau that cannot be fused. Are different ones, both feed by the central government with political objectives very, very well defined. And what can the lawyers of Macau do this? It depends on the guidelines that were addressed by the government.
I'll go back to the great codes I believe you want to mention, but I don't resist provoking you because you are talking about the help that central government is not yet giving us. uh, the, the local, the regional government not being focused enough for that. But Oriana, in the beginning of this session, also mentioned our lack of mindset. Can you add that as a third reason, or you disagree with that?
What? Sorry.
Our own lack of mindset to do that.
Okay. I think that maybe a part of that cake will be.
Just because it was her idea.
Can be. Can be.
No, no, I think you
Yeah,
would
just
like
two
to
short
mention the
remarks.
codes,
I don't
yeah.
want to take all the time. The first one is regarding the Great Codes. We talk here about the Great Codes, and I think the Great Codes is a very strong support and are the very own pillars of our system. And but because it was not mentioned, I just wanted to mention and know if the panel agrees with that, is that mainland China has a very recent civil code, which in my opinion is one of the more modern civil codes that I know, that I have knowledge of. And I just wanted to know if they agree with this, and if this in some way facilitates the exchange between lawyers from Macau and mainland China. The other remark is regarding what you refer regarding what is the idea of the common citizen regarding the fights between companies and individuals with the government, and how they in court most of the times cannot win. I think for that idea, a lot of things contribute. The first thing I think we should be aware is that Macau has one thing that not all countries have, which is an administrative law and administrative courts. Those administrative courts just are called when there are litigation between individuals or companies and the state, when the state is acting in its public capacity. Not if the state is acting like an individual or a particular, are not those courts that take care of those litigations, are the normal courts. But when the court is acting under its public authority, then are the administrative courts that take care of that litigation. My point is, when individuals and companies contract with government, usually they don't have much margin of maneuver, unless they are very big companies. So they end up signing contracts that are very strict. And so is, in my opinion, very easy that when there is a litigation, the government has the right on his side. The second reason is because the particulars are not so well prepared for these litigations usually as the government is. The third reason is, of course, sometimes technically we don't agree with the decisions, of course. So everybody has his own juridical opinion, and the judges on the administrative courts may have an opinion that I don't agree with. Doesn't mean they are wrong or I am wrong, but it's different opinions. We usually say that when there are three jurists in the room, there are 4 or 5 opinions. So different opinions. So what I wanted to know is, do you agree that when we say that the government always win in the courts, we are talking about a common idea that may be true, but is not caused because by the decisions to be always in favor of the government because they are biased, but because the circumstances in which they are taken are very specific and tend to end up with the government being right.
I will use my mediation capacity here. You really didn't make a question. You did a statement and then ask if you agree with your statement. But let's start with the civil code in China, because it's not common law knowledge, and I think it's important to hear from you about it. So Nun was stating that we have one of the most modern civil codes in China, which is again other misperception we have about China mindset. And so China can also influence Macau to develop. It's not only the other way around. So I can ask you if you agree with that, and then of course you can comment on the second question.
Yes, why not? I think that the Chinese legislation can influence benevolently the legal system of Macau. In China, there are very, very good legislators and experts, and they have a legislative process that is refined, that is a very good one. And the school is the same. And there are German experts, legal experts, working in the government and in the people's Congress as experts in terms of law. So I think that the exchange, the cultural exchange and the technical exchange of the legal legislation is reciprocal and can be beneficial for both parties. No doubts about that.
Okay. Do you have any comments on that particular
I can't disagree with
question?
him. Yeah.
Good.
So I can't. So yeah, I agree. And in fact, as I know, even before they do this civil code in China, in fact they learn from the other similar system countries too, like even Portugal. Yeah, because in the discussion, in the seminars, they will learn. I can see they will learn with the other countries too. So in fact, I think we can learn from China too in this modern civil code. And in fact, I think that is what integration will be between Macau and China. Because Hong Kong and China maybe is much more difficult because it's two different systems. But what I can see, even in 25 years later, right? I don't think Macau will have a big change. I don't believe. But what I believe is we have many common things, right? The society had many common values. For sure, we have our special things, special situation, but maybe our rules will be more and more the similar and the same, so we can have a good integration in the Greater Bay Area, in all the China. Is what I'm thinking.
Okay. I know you are waiting for the last question,
For the
but
second question.
I will give a last chance to the floor for one more question, and then in the end, please, if you want to comment the last statement of Nunu, okay?
I just want to complete something.
Yes.
In this integration, or even what we are doing in the Hengqin or in the Greater Bay Area, all is a new thing, right? Is a new thing. So we are just trying to do the best and design the things just to think and keep trying. In fact, in China, even many rules and laws, they have the trying. They have the trying period first, yeah, and they will make it better and improving those rules. And in fact, I want to use a word that is very famous in Chinese. We say when we trying something, we will do. In Chinese, 摸着石頭過河, which means the translation in English literally is something the crossing the river by touching the stones. So making the things step by step and keep trying and improving. That's what we have to do.
And I imagine it's a huge challenge
Yeah.
finding the common knowledge between common law,
Yeah,
Portuguese
yeah, yeah,
law, and
yeah.
Chinese
Yeah,
law.
you cannot see
It
it
is a huge
anywhere in the
challenge.
world. So it's a very big challenge.
Okay. Any more questions? Last one, please. And then after answering this last question, we can go back and finish with Nuno's opinion about the administrative law and the court systems. Please.
I can.
Okay. I just want to say, parabéns, or happy birthday to you first.
Thank you very
Don't worry,
much.
because my age, I'm also near your age. And the other question, the question I would like to ask in Macau, where can I find the basic law, the written basic law in English or Portuguese, and not in Chinese? Thank you.
I think it's not hard to find it, right? The basic
It's
law.
in a
The
website.
basic
It's
law
on the
in
website.
English or in Portuguese.
Do you use internet?
English
You
and
can find it.
Portuguese, not in Chinese.
Yeah. Do you have website? You can find it in the website.
Which website?
The government website.
Government basic law.
Okay, thank you.
English and Portuguese.
English and Portuguese.
And I
You
think
just-
that
you just try basic law Macau,
Maybe.
and it's gonna appear to you in
Thank
Portuguese
you.
or English. It's very easy. Okay. So
and I think that you can also get the one official book
government.
with the 3 versions, Chinese, Portuguese, and English. And I think that you can find it in probably in Plaza. That is a small bookstore,
Plaza Cultural.
Plaza Cultural. Plaza Cultural.
can we finish with the comments of
doesn't-
Nuno about?
Yes, I cannot deny that Dr. Nuno. I cannot.
Yes, yes. There is one last question, so please
Oh,
let's
sorry,
try
sorry.
to answer this. No, no, no. No, no, please, please.
It's just to share a piece of information that I think is not very commonly known, which is, yes, the Chinese took extremely in good care in preparing the civil code. And for that, they resorted to a wide range of sources, and especially to the European civil codes. And for that, and this is the part that is not commonly known, one of the most treasured tools they cared to use was the Chinese translation of the Macau Civil Code. So this for me is very, very meaningful because actually it works both ways. And the Macau role is also potentially a very interesting one in shaping also the options, the legal options, the lawmaking also in China and in GBA as well. So this doesn't just flow in one way as far as I can see. That was all.
I can make a small lateral comment on that because I had the chance to follow up the discussions in India about the commercial code, and what they did was asking a lot of Portuguese lawyers and judges to go there to discuss the Portuguese law they had in Goa as a base for the Indian commercial code because they basically didn't have one, right? And the Portuguese had one in Goa, so just a commentary of mine. Can we please finish making Nuno happy?
Okay. First of all, to thank to Dr. Luis Rolo the contribution. Responding to Dr. Nuno. Dr. Nuno, I cannot deny that in some currents of the public opinion in Macau, that's true what you said. Some currents of public opinion believe that or said that it's now no use to go against the government because the administrative court immediately gives the reasons and the justice is done in favor of the government. I think this is just maybe out of the truth. It's not completely like that. But my answer is, once more, we lawyers, we have high responsibility on that because, once again, we must fight for the independence of the court. Sure that about the decision or the decision of the administrative court, we can appeal for the second instance court, and probably we can also agree for the last instance court. So the decision of the administrative court can be in favor of the government, but in second and the last instance cannot be or could not be. But once more, the independence of the court, we must insist on that, and this is the last resort for the individual rights and immaterial interests of the population of Macau.
Dr. Oriana, do you want to finish commenting on this, or would you like to finish with any other comments or synthesizing this session here? And thank you very much again for being here.
Yeah, in fact, I agree with Dr. Rato and Dr. Nuno. And Dr. Rato said very important is the independence of the court. And another thing is very important that we lawyer keep on fighting. Yeah, because we cannot lose the faith. Yeah, sometimes even we have clients. They say, against the government, I will lose. In fact, this is happening in all the world because there are private people against the government, or just a company against the government. They think they cannot win. But what we have to do is telling them, if you have reason, if by the law, what rights do you have and what we can do. And that is the only way and the last chance to fight and to win. So, and we have to be well prepared to, not only in the government case, but in all the case, to be firm and have knowledge, well prepared, discuss with the other with other lawyers to do the best. This what I think we have to always improve and updating ourselves, because sometimes the people see the things very easily, and even we see nowadays some matters, before need to be do by the lawyer. Now the people or the residents, they can do by themselves. Yeah, but it's not so easy, because if any problem happen, it's difficult to change and to rectify. It's not easy. That's why we need to keep professional in our work.
And ask for the lawyer first when he writes the contract.
Yeah,
and not
for sure.
afterwards.
For sure.
Preventive lawyership.
Yeah, that is in Macau. Generally, they don't have this kind of mind. They only find a lawyer when they get problems. Yeah.
Portuguese are the same.
Yeah. But the important is prevention. In fact.
Okay. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
Dr. Hatu, thank you very much for your help. Thank
It was
you
a
very
pleasure.
much, everybody, for being here. Of course, Rui and Dr. Cunha, thank you very much again for all this help you have you have been done with us for all these 10 years. It's not from today. Tomorrow we are going to be here again. Tomorrow discussing banking networks with Ipsiu Kai, number 2 of BOC Bank of China, and Dr. Carlos Cid Alvarez from BNNU. I hope you can come. The discussion will be in the same frame, but same, totally different. See you tomorrow. Thank you.
Sanguiado, Carlos. Muitos parabéns.
Tu com essa.
Gosto de sangueado, faz logo.